Hi, Dr. Montgomery. I am going to go over my 4 strategies for addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division using our Number Talks book. I went ahead and wrote mine out, or drew them out on marker dry erase boards just for time purposes because I figured I could probably talk forever and I wanted to cut down on some of it. For addition, I went ahead and chose the compensation strategy. And with compensation, basically the goal is to manipulate the numbers into easier, friendlier numbers to add. As long as the quotients are kept the same, you can remove and add any amount. So I felt like if I would have known this strategy as a child in 5th grade, might have benefited me a little bit more than it did. For this example right here, the student changes 118 right here to the friendly number 120 by adding 2. And notice how 2 was subtracted from 116 to make 114. So whenever we added these together using our friendlier numbers, the student was able to solve 234 in an easier way. When we look at the second example over here on this side, the student changes both numbers to friendly numbers by subtracting 1 from 126, making the friendly number of 125. So right here, 126 minus 1 is 125. And then from that, they added 1 to 119 to make 120. So they were able to make 2 friendly numbers to add to get the answer 245. So with compensation, it's just really making sure that you are keeping the quotients the same, but any amount can be removed and added. So I thought this really stuck out to me as an easy strategy for addition. For subtraction, I did the adjusting strategy. With adjusting, the goal is really to only adjust only one problem, and the subtraction problem can sometimes actually be easier, and that's pretty much explained in this situation. Most students, however, they have to decide which number would be the most helpful to adjust and why. And also with that, does the final answer need to be adjusted to compensate for the final answer? So for this first problem over here, the example adjusts the 59 to an easy multiple of 10. So 59 plus 1 equals 60. In this example, the students would need to be asked if the 1 should be added back to the answer or subtracted. And the book gave a really good example about this. The example said Joey has 123 marbles. He promised Zach 59 of the marbles. He accidentally gave Zach 60 instead of 59. What does Joey need to do? And even going through this and seeing this as an adult, it's kind of tricky to think, okay, we just subtracted, so why are we adding? So to me, this example made it a little bit more clear, because even though we are adding, we're truly subtracting the extra that was originally taken, what we took from the beginning. So going on to this example over here, we have 151 minus 6. And this example adjusts the 96 to 100. So the student subtracts 100 from 151, and they ended up with 51. Then the student had to add 4 to 51 to get 55. This gave him 55, but it also gave him the amount that he originally had taken away. To me, this kind of, I think the reason I chose these two, and honestly in all of my strategies, math is where I struggle. So they are more the easier ones, the ones that I feel like beginners would need to know. But honestly, as a beginner learning number sense, it's really starting to build more of a foundation for myself learning this. So even though they are the easier ones, they are starting to make a little bit more sense to me. The multiplication strategy that I chose was, oh, I hope I did. No, I didn't. Okay. The multiplication strategy that I chose was the repeated addition. The goal for repeated addition basically requires students to add one number at a time. The problem is then solved by adding each group together. So if we look right here at 15 times 6, you are literally just adding 15 to the total at the end. So 15 plus 15 is 30. Then 30 plus 15 is 45. 45 plus 15 is 60. 60 plus 15 is 75. 75 plus 15 is 90. Then the book also goes on to saying that this thinking can also be furthered and set them more up into a multiplication type thinking of creating an array. So what you'll find here is 6 along the side and 15 across the top. And then once all the squares or the X's are filled in, the answer of 90 is still reached. So it kind of sets them up as, yes, doing addition, but this kind of gets them more thinking along the lines of a multiplication strategy. Then over here, we have 3 times 12. Basically, it's going to be 12 plus 12 plus 12. So we start with 12 plus 12 equals 24. And then 24 plus 15. 24 plus 12 equals 36. And then once again, I created an array for this. 3 going down, 12 going across, and once all the X's are filled in, we still get our answer of 36. So, like I said, kind of simple, and it is definitely the beginner type of number sense strategies, but I myself am also building this foundation, and I want to make sure that I'm doing it correctly so that I can use this one day in my own classroom. For division, I did the sharing, dealing out strategy. And basically, the goal with the sharing, dealing out strategy is that the student associates the divisor with the number of groups between which the whole is being shared. So this first example right here, 30 divided by 5 equals 6. So what the student did was they drew 5 boxes, okay? And the 5 boxes represented his 5 friends. The student ended up taking 1 cookie and giving it to each person. The student did that until all 30 cookies were gone, and then he counted how many each person received. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Each person received 6 cookies. So then at the end, he could go back and count them to make sure that they added up to get 30 to be his answer. And the same goes for 12 divided by 2 equals 6. I just drew the 2 squares with 6 cookies in the squares to represent how many cookies each person got to equal 6. So with these strategies, I have learned that it does take time for number sense, and I hope that with what I showed, it does show that I have learned something in focusing these and deepening my understanding of number sense. It's still taking me some time, but I am getting a little bit more comfortable, and I feel like even starting from the ground up with these simple strategies are really going to help me one day implementing this into my own classroom. So thank you, and I'm looking forward to the end of the semester.